Duet Night Abyss just launched, and that means there's a ton of things to figure out about this game. I love learning all about new games, new systems, the best weapons, etc. And today, I think I found the best weapon in all of Duet Night Abyss, at least in 1.0. My name is Braxophone, but you can call me Brax, and if you can't tell, I'm a little sick right now, but the grind never stops, baby. We're gonna keep making videos to help you guys out because that's what I'm all about. And also, I just like talking about video games. So I was lucky enough to be on the beta server for this game, and I was able to test out some things early on, and I actually got the chance to try out a ton of different weapons. Now, I've played a bunch of different characters as well and comboed them, and I've actually found a weapon that works with characters that aren't even proficient with the weapon sometimes, depending on what the character does. If you ever played Warframe, then you know a lot of the game revolves around your skills and what kind of damage you can do without even having to use your melee weapon or your ranged weapons. Duet Night Abyss is very much the same thing. There's a lot of characters where a majority of their damage comes from things like their skill, and for those characters, if you're not using their skill, then what are you doing? So anyways, if you're confused on which weapons you should be building, I'm gonna be showcasing some of the better ones, but mostly I want to talk about one weapon in particular that I think is actually just way stronger than everything else. It's actually in the opening cutscene of the game, but you don't get it right away, and that is the Remanent Reminiscence weapon. Now, this is a sword, meaning that not every character in the game is going to be proficient with it. However, the MC is going to be proficient in it. Berenica will also be proficient with it as well. Yale and Oliver, fucking Randy, Fino, when you're able to get her, as well as Tabitha, are all good with the sword. However, the sword can be used even outside of those characters just because of what its effect is. So I'm going to show you guys what that effect is now. As mentioned before, your sanity or your energy in the bottom right of the screen is what you're going to use to do a lot of your damage because the characters themselves are built around a specific kit. Well, this sword allows you to restore sanity upon landing a crit with the weapon. This is the only weapon in the entire game that lets you restore sanity. I have gone through every single weapon effect. I have looked at every single weapon to double check if that is the case, and yes, it is the only weapon in the entire game that allows you to restore sanity to your character. There's weapons that restore your max HP. There's weapons that allow you to trigger bonus effects. There's weapons that increase your attack speed. There's weapons that make it so that you can reduce your resonant support cooldown, which actually that's pretty good too, but it's also a sword, so you're probably not going to use it over this one. Unless this just ends up being the goat sword, which I guess we'll know later on, right? But this is the only weapon in the entire game that lets you do this. And it can be triggered every half second. So that's pretty cool. It also increases your attack range, which is just generally nice because it means you're going to be hitting more enemies. And as you smelt this weapon, as you get more copies and feed them into it, you're going to increase the chance of restoring that sanity even further, as well as the attack range. So by smelting these into it, we almost have double the attack range here. And you can, I mean, just look how far we're slashing, right? Like, it's reaching pretty dang far right now. On top of the effect though, it also has a pretty solid base stat setup. If you go look through other weapons without demon wedges on, if you take the demon wedges off, right? This is a base spike attack of 263. At Smelt 4, this is 256. It's pretty close. And this is a Smelt 1 weapon with 238, Smelt 1 with 213, right? So this guy has decent all-around stats. It also has some trigger probability to it, and the crit chance it starts with is not 0. And then when you equip demon wedges to it, it gets even better because now look, we have a 50% crit chance, 900 spike attack, and a ton of crit damage as well. So this thing is just going to absolutely demolish enemies, but in addition to that, it's going to give us back our sanity, and I need to show you. This is so crazy. Let's go up and put up some level 100 enemies. I'm gonna do this, spawn them all in, and let's get them all grouped up around us here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and spend a ton of my sanity. I'm just gonna do this, right? Just start slashing through them, spend a bunch of that sanity, do some damage to enemies. You guys know how it is. We're just gonna spam this for a little bit, and now I'm out of sanity. Now, when I go ahead and start slashing them, I want you to watch the sanity bar. So basically, every half second, we can restore 3 sanity and get that bar up so much faster. On top of that, we have passive sanity regen, and if enemies are dying, it's going to come even faster. This becomes even more evident with characters like Berenica, for example, which I will show you in a little bit. But as you can see, just absolutely shredding through these guys. I'm gonna go ahead and kill all of them real quick just so I can go to the menus and show you something else. So that's with the MC, right? But let's check out Berenica, who I think is the biggest winner for this. If we go and look at her skills and things like that, you can actually see that you get a chance to restore sanity with Faint Light, which is her skill, as is. So you're already going to be restoring a ton of sanity by spamming the skill, but with her, it's basically an infinite combo. Let me go ahead and spawn in a ton of these guys, and you know, let's just do level 120. Screw it. Let's go ahead and make them as high level as possible, because the Berenica stonks are crazy, guys. It's really nuts. So I'm just gonna get a bunch of sanity back, and that's just from attacking, right? But that obviously was with Berenica's passives. Now, let's go ahead and use her skill, though. You can genuinely do this forever. And this is from her skill, right? But then if for some reason, let's say I'm only hitting like one guy with this, so I'm not getting as much sanity and I'm kind of draining it, right? Well, it's a good thing that I have the passive effect on the sword that lets me get all of the sanity back like so quickly. Now we're going to use Hydroid Prime here, and I'm gonna show you exactly what we can do with the sanity here too. They're also a sword user and they're pretty crazy with it. They have specialty with a bow, but I just want you guys to watch this. So we'll go back to level 100 enemies for a little bit. So this character's funny. Basically, you pelt them all with bow, you can make tentacles come out of the ground and just like destroy these guys, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and use her ult. And then you can use her skill to pick people up and then get some sanity back. You can ult again. You can use sanity to fling them even more. And since they're all kind of stunned, you can just farm your sanity back too. It's just so good, guys. It's genuinely like, this weapon is crazy. And I think if they add any other weapons in the future that allow you to just farm sanity like that, they're going to be even better. But just for the launch of the game, when we don't have a lot of things that restore that sanity, this is already pretty crazy, you guys. It does so much for you. And that's like, I'm not even using this character like the way they're supposed to be played intentionally. Like, you're supposed to shoot enemies and, you know, get a bunch of tentacles to come out and kill them. But in addition to that, we could just restore all of our sanity. Boom, boom, everyone gets impaled. Then we use our skill. They all get thrown around, a bunch of damage dealt to them. We do it again, and we're able to get our sanity back up so much faster than if we were just waiting. So, dude, I really like this weapon. I wish it was a bit faster, but it is the only weapon in the entire game that's able to do this. And on some characters, it makes a huge difference. There are even cases with characters that are not proficient in it where it can be useful. For example, I'm gonna pull out Rebecca here, and I'm gonna go ahead and just start hitting enemies to get some sanity back. So Rebecca's whole thing is she puts down a bunch of jellyfish, right? And the jellyfish are going to pulse out damage over time. I'm going to put down 5 jellyfish and then be able to farm up enough sanity to do it again. I'm going to actually just farm up to full real quick so I can show you guys the full power of this. But it's gaining like very rapidly in comparison to what it would be if you were just standing there passively. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wipe all these guys real quick, and then we'll spawn in some more. All right, so a bunch of them are now spawned. I'm gonna show you exactly how this works. I'm gonna go ahead and put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now I have 5 jellyfish down. They're gonna be pulsing out, killing enemies. And during this entire time, while the jellyfish are killing them, I'm getting stamina back to put down more jellyfish. So my jellyfish will run out in like 4 seconds. Well, they're all dead. Okay, let me go ahead and put out a higher level. Oh my gosh. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're just gonna pulse over time. Enemies over there are tagged, they're coming over, and we're just gonna farm up all of our sanity that we spent on some jellyfish. We don't have all of it yet, but we do have enough to summon 5 more jellyfish as is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Now we go again. It's really something else. This is without counting the sanity we're gonna get from character kills, because as of right now, these guys are level 120, right? So they have a lot more HP, and we're not gonna be perfectly back at 150 when this is done. But let me show you the difference if you use her regular polearm. If you use it without the ability to regen that sanity. All right, so right now we're passively gaining sanity pretty slowly, but we're passively gaining it. I have enough to put down the 5 jellies. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now if I start hitting all these guys, the sanity is just not coming back at the same rate, right? I can still only put down 2 jellyfish now. It's just not regenning, guys. Not the way we need it to. So now we put down 3 jellyfish instead of the 5. So it's a massive difference. I can't even begin to explain it to you. Now, I will say the difference is, like, obviously she's doing more damage with her signature. She's not doing as much damage because the weapon proficiency just isn't the same, right? If I'm slapping them around with this weapon, they're going to take a lot more. But the difference would be that your skill damage output from having more jellies is going to make a pretty big difference, especially in missions where enemies have a lot higher HP. In missions where enemies are lower, the sanity is a little bit more negligible because you'll be able to kill the enemies and get the sanity back. But this weapon makes it so that even when you're not knocking out enemies quickly, you're still able to regen sanity consistently. I want you guys to know that this is peak feels crafting, right? So if something comes out and says that I am 100% wrong and all of this video is wrong, I will just straight up delete it. But right now, this weapon easily feels like it has the most power in the entire game to be able to change how a character plays because of that sanity restoration. Now, there are other good weapons in the game. I don't want you guys to think like, oh, this is the only weapon worth playing. Like, obviously, with some characters, their skills and their ultimates are important, but not so important that you need to be spamming them as much as possible. This weapon's not going to be the best on every single character in the game, and a lot of the time, the weapons that are meant to go with the specific character are going to be better based on the character kit. But there are a lot of characters that can benefit just from getting that extra sanity, and to be honest, if you're just looking to build one weapon to last you really far into the game, this could do it. And then you can use it to like farm up all of the other stuff as well. Now, honorable mentions go out to basically everything that increases things like skill duration, skill range. A lot of this game is based on your character's kit and not so much their ability to spam left click. So things like skill range, skill duration are generally pretty good. Trigger probability on certain characters is also very good. Attack speed is funny, but not always the thing you need. And then this one I do think is going to be kind of sleeper OP. This Wandering Rose Sword, I think it actually will be like kind of good with the Resonant Support cooldown. But all in all, guys, so far, this just feels like the strongest thing to generally have. As for range weapons, there's not one like it, but there are skill duration and skill range ones too that are generally pretty good and can work on multiple different characters, assuming that their kits have some kind of AoE to them. I really like Blue Current Pulse Pistols. I think these are cool. This weapon's fun because it has lock on, but it is specifically good for Lumino characters, so there's a bit of that downside. And this weapon is a great support weapon, which can give your allies some buffs. If you're looking for good weapons all around, if they have an effect for a specific type of character, typically those end up not being as good to invest in generally unless you're specifically building that character. So for example, when a pyro character takes damage, grants skill duration. Without a pyro character, this just gives 50% max HP, which can be good for one particular character, but she also has a whip sword that gives her max HP, so there's not really a point in building that one for her. It's one of those things where like you kind of just have to take a look at like every weapon that you are interested in building for a character, or like maybe if you're building a character and you have specific weapon types that they use, check to see if they have a specific requirement, like a hydro character triggering the ability. Because for example, if it has that, it's probably not going to be as good on characters that are not that element, versus this one just works all the time. As one last showcase, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the MC here and play a Noctoyager mission. There's like a ton of enemies here and I will be able to kill them over time, right? So I'm gonna go and press my ult, and then I'm just gonna start skill spamming, and I'm gonna get a bunch of sanity back just from enemy kills, but then I'm low sanity, so now I need to get some more back. I'm just gonna start swinging. This is so crazy to me, dude. I love seeing all the numbers on screen. And now we're back at like full stamina again. Pretty quickly, we were just forcing these guys into a corner. Now we're out of stamina. We do this. We can also use our pet here, our Genimon, to get more stamina. And even on like super high level missions like this, where they just are super spongy in HP, you can just get your stamina back so quickly. So we'll use our ult again, just for fun. We can start spamming our skill out, do a bunch more damage. You can see their HP drop drastically when the skill spam comes out, which is just so awesome. And yeah, we're just gonna keep doing this. Now, since we're only hitting one enemy, we're getting less sanity, so let's go and hit multiple enemies, so that way we have a higher trigger chance here. And now we can spam out skill again, and just whenever that skill comes out, it just shreds people. So, all right, now we're down to the last few enemies. This weapon does fall off in like one-on-one scenarios, and against bosses, it probably won't be quite as strong. But right now, we just need it to be strong enough to kill this guy. So we're gonna go ahead and use our ult here just for fun, and the guy's gone. He died before I could use my ult. But there you go, dude. I mean, I love this weapon. It's so sick. We got some good stuff over here. We got some wings inspo. Okay. And we got 28 bonus secret letter clues. We take those. So that is it, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, or if you want more tips for Duet Night Abyss, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, or come check out the Discord if you want to join a community full of like-minded and awesome people. And feel free to come over to my Twitch, where I'm constantly like testing this sort of stuff out, and I'm just gonna be playing the shit out of this game online. So let me know if there's any weapons in particular you guys feel like are just super crazy that you want me to talk about. Thanks, everyone, and I'll catch you next time.